Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to complete a joiner photo. So within the joiner photo, the requirement was to have at least 130 images that you shot on your DSLR. For demonstration purposes, I'm showing you quickly how to do it with 7. These images do not go together either. I just randomly pulled them off of my computer. So the first thing you'll want to do is create a folder on your desktop and put your joiner images in there for your first joiner photo. So when you're in Adobe Bridge, you can click on desktop, and at the bottom here it will show you everything that's on your desktop. I'm going to double click on joiner 1, and then here are all my images. Now to select them all quickly, it's just Command A is the shortcut on a Mac, so Command A, and now I have them all selected. After this, you'll go to Tools at the top, Photoshop, Load Files into Photoshop Layers. I'm not going to do it right now because I've already preloaded it, because this is the part that takes a while. So once they load into Photoshop, Photoshop will open. You have to make sure you have Photoshop closed when you do that, and you will see all of your images load over here on the side. This is the part that takes the longest because it's loading 130 some images. I only have about 8, so it's not taking a long time. You need to select all of them on their layers. So you select the top one, hold Shift, and select the bottom one, and you know they're all selected because they're highlighted. Then we go to Image, Image Size, and you want to change it to 4 by 6. If it's a horizontal image, it'll be 6 by 4. If it's vertical, it should be 4 by 6. It'll automatically do the correct sizing because I have my constrained proportions, and you want to keep that. My images are a little bit smaller just because these are student files. So once you have all your image sizing done, you'll want to deselect everything, and all I did was just click down here in the layers window, and that deselects all of them. Now we need to make the canvas large. So we go to canvas size, it's 36 by 24, and you want to keep your dimensions in order, like if it's horizontal versus vertical. Command minus is going to zoom me out. Command plus will zoom me in. The really important thing when you're using the move tool is you want to make sure you have auto select selected, because what that does is whenever you click on an image, even if I'm clicking on this far back one, it grabs that back image and nothing gets in my way. So imagine all these images were basically of the same scene. You're going to start joining your images together to make a larger photograph that is a joiner of all your smaller ones. Some images you may want to duplicate, which is Command J, and you won't see it, but it technically duplicates right on top of itself. Command Option Z undoes infinite amount of times. So I just Command J that one, Command J, and I can duplicate that. Command T is going to be really important. This is to transform. You have to hold Shift down when you're transforming your image, and then because that keeps it proportionate. Then I can go to the bounding box outside and I can rotate it. Maybe I want some images to rotate, and you hit enter to set it in place. Now if I want this image to be behind everything, I literally take it and pull it down, and now it will lay behind all my images. Maybe I want it above this tree image, but it seems to be blocking it, so I need it to show, so I'll just move it back underneath. And the same thing with this one. Maybe I want this one to lay underneath the tree image, so then I'll pull it down underneath that tree. And I actually think it looks better on top of it, because if these images went together, you can kind of see how they look like they're connecting right here. Okay, so imagine you have your whole joiner set up. It's filling your entire image. The next thing we want to do is add a layer style to it. So if you go to FX at the bottom of your layer panel, and we start out with an outer glow, no, drop shadow, sorry. So on the drop shadow, you want to keep it multiply, you want it to be black. I always start with 50% opacity. This is a 145-degree angle. These are things that I start with, because you can see if you rotate it, what happens over here, the angle changes. So I always start with 145, Then I do 50, 0, and about 32. Okay, and everything stays the same down here. Then I'm going to go to my stroke, and I'm going to change it to about 3 pixels. I want it on the outside. I want the color to be white, so I can click it right here, and then I hit OK. Now that layer style just went to 1, as you can see right here. So I'm going to do Control right click on my Mac. I'm going to copy the layer style. I'm going to click this first image, hold Shift, and then Control right click, paste the layer styles, and now I paste it onto every single one. So here I'm going to add a new layer, drop it down. I'm going to call it my background by double clicking on layer 1, backgrounds. And I'm just going to give it an obnoxious color right now so you can see what it does. Paint bucket tool, drop it in, and you can see all of the layer styles and strokes appearing. Okay, sometimes you have to click close to the image to fill that color all the way up. Here's a finished image of how your joiner should look. So these are all individual photographs put together to make up the scene as a whole. I have a background color, I have a layer style on each image, and I've duplicated some shapes as well.